Welcome to another episode of the Scoreboard. Week 2 of the NFL predictions on tap today. And Smokey, you are the bookkeeper, obviously. You got the records of last week, and how did it turn out?
Well, as it turns out, of course, we didn't agree on all of our picks. I actually gave the tie as a half point to each of us. So we ended up, I had 9.5 games correct. You had 10.5 games correct. So you are one ahead of me at the moment.
10.5, 9.5. That's for week 1. That's actually pretty good. That's
it
not
is,
too
yeah,
bad.
Not bad at all.
I'm used to getting I'm used to going 8-8 max on week 1. So that's actually pretty good. I used to usually when there was a tie, I used to not even basically count it or have the prediction record as it's a 3-figure record. So win, loss, and ties, which is sort of just neutral. But the half points is fine. That basically also makes sense.
Yes. It's very hard. It's very hard to predict week 1, man.
Yeah, it is.
Anything can happen, as we saw with the Titans and the Browns, man. Anything can happen,
and some other games too. It's crazy.
Oh,
yeah. Anything you want to review there? Do you have anything you want to recap?
Well, yeah. Let's go through it really quickly, man. Packers and the Bears. Of course, you had the Bears and I had the Packers, and that was a boring game right there, man. Yeah. Chiefs and Jags. That was almost as to be expected, right?
Yeah. Very unfortunate with the Nick Foles situation, of course.
Yes, it is. And my Falcons looked horrible. Thanks for that. Titans and the Browns, as we mentioned, that was yeah, you could call that an upset, right? Even though it's week 1 and no one. Really...
I don't know. In week 1, it's just like it's just a denial of hype. I think not really an upset. If the Browns were already like 8-1. And Titans 1-8, and then they win, then it's an upset. But like week 1, all we know so far is just hype and talk. So I don't like to say. I don't call anything week 1 upsets.
I would say upset of expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
Redskins and Eagles. Eagles pulled it out like everyone expected, but it was a closer game than anyone thought it would be. Bills and Jets. Jets. We were both wrong on that one.
That was a close game. It was a good game too.
Yes, it really was. Yeah, of course it was a interdivision game. Yeah. Both these guys are going to look good this year. Ravens. Lamar Jackson went nuclear. And
that was rough.
The Dolphins. They're officially tanking, I suppose.
Apparently, yeah. Week 1.
Yeah. Rams and Panthers. The Rams pulled it out, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought the Panthers could do a little better, but Cam Newton looked like garbage on the field.
A very close game.
Yes, it was. Colts. Did I not tell you that? I know this is week 1, but did I not tell you that Jacoby Brissett is going to be better than everyone expected?
But did I not tell you that the Colts were going to lose?
Well, I did too. Also, I picked the Chargers on
you
that
think
one.
You think Andrew Luck would have won that game?
Of course.
Yeah, he would have, right? That's one of the difference games. That's already won.
Yeah, I mean, and the Colts would have won if it wasn't for Adam Vinatieri missing those kicks. Yeah. But, yeah, Andrew Luck would have had a lead out there and just taken over. Yeah. So, it is what it is. Seahawks and Bengals. Bengals were a lot closer than we expected also. Yeah. I don't know about your tank for Tua prediction coming true right now.
I'm sure.
Cowboys and Giants. Cowboys dominated. Dak Prescott looked like $1 million out there on the field, and everyone expected that to happen in the first place. 49ers and Bucs. I expected the Bucs to pull this out at home. I thought these teams were a lot closer than it looked like in the game. Apparently, Jameis Winston forgot how to football. If he ever,
he was too busy being famous, especially in the second half.
Exactly.
Nothing. First half was terrible to watch, but second half was pretty good.
Exactly. Yeah. Cards and the Lions. It was a tie. No one expected that. I mean, even though it was at home, I thought it was going to be close and the Cards were going to pull it out. I think most people in the industry were expecting the Lions to just roll right over the Cardinals in this one, but
yeah. See, the first 3 quarters looked exactly like I was expecting the Cardinals to look this season, entire season. But then they realized that, or the Lions rather realized that they are the Lions, and then they dropped all sorts of points. But
exactly,
I wasn't too impressed.
That defense is almost as horrible as the entire Steelers game was. Patriots mollywopped the Steelers 33-3, and Jesus Christ, man, that was a bloodbath.
That was rough, yeah.
Yeah. I really was hoping for the Steelers. I think they'll bounce back, though. Saints and Texans, that was a close game.
That was
on
intense,
Monday night.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I watched the first half. I was at JJ's place. My buddy JJ we watched the first half together, and then I went home and he watched the second half. And I regret missing it. The second half was great.
Oh, yeah. Well, in the first half, it looked like Houston was going to dominate, really.
Yeah.
But, as it to be expected, Drew Brees took over and came back on them. But Deshaun Watson looks like the truth right now. That is a great quarterback, and Texans are so lucky to have him. Broncos and Raiders. The John Gruden pulled something out of his hat there.
They won a game. They won a game somehow.
Darren Waller looks like he's going to be a superstar for him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. That takes care of week one.
Did not expect that one. That was an upset. All right, so let's get into the main thing. We have week 2 on tap, obviously, and we're gonna predict this. So you're keeping track. You're writing stuff down.
I am.
It's all gonna count. So starting off in the NFC South, Buccaneers and the Panthers.
And for this one, I'm going with the home team. I mean, the Bucs looked even more horrible than the Panthers. So the Panthers being at home, I have to go with the Panthers, and I'm hoping Cam Newton can figure out how to throw a football again.
Yeah, I mean the Panthers. It was decently close, I want to say, at least against the Rams. The Buccaneers. The game was absolutely abjectly terrible in the first half to watch, but the Buccaneers could have lost this by. They could have gotten 50 points dropped on them. Honestly, 49ers had 3 touchdowns called back by penalties, and honestly, they could have scored more than that. Buccaneers did not look good at all. Jameis Winston looked like he did not know what he was doing out there. The only bright spot is Ronald Jones right now, and he had a pretty good game. They're gonna start relying on him more. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Panthers too. Easy pick.
All right.
Cowboys and the Redskins.
And, of course, the Redskins are at home in this one, but I'm still going with the Cowboys because that offensive line looks like it is the best offensive line. Dak Prescott had all day to throw the ball the other night, so I got to give it to the Cowboys in this one.
He did. I'm also going to do that. I think Cowboys. It's going to be up to Cowboys and Eagles this division.
Yes,
and I like the Eagles, but the Redskins Giants seem to be out of it. I didn't expect them to really be in it, but they seem to be out of it, and the Cowboys should take this as a mandatory win. I'm agreeing with you. Colts and the Titans.
Colts and the Titans. Being divisional, these after that win, you want to come out and say, "Wow, the Titans look legit." Yeah. They're going to kill everybody, but. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than it looks, and I still believe in Jacoby pulling this off and becoming a viable quarterback. But being at home, I'm still going to go with the Titans.
Gonna go with the Titans.
Yes.
In years past, if someone comes off a week 1 win against the Browns, that meant nothing.
No, not at all.
And now it does, even though the Browns haven't won a game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick the Colts.
Okay.
Interesting. Very, very fun situation. I'm gonna go with the Colts. I think the Titans hype is more of the Browns turning out to be a little bit more shaky than people expected them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Colts went toe to toe with the Chargers. Chargers are an elite team.
Yes,
I might as well have won it. And I think they'll bounce back and get their first win in Tennessee.
Are we sure though the Chargers are still elite?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see, obviously, but I definitely do think so. Broncos not looking good. Raiders, we know what the Raiders are.
Mm-hmm.
It's Chiefs and Chargers in that division to me. Seahawks and Steelers.
Seahawks and Steelers. I really want to see a bounce back here. I want to see, and we've had this throughout his entire career. Ben splits the home road games like no other. You could almost put Drew Brees in that category, but Ben is the king of losing on the road and winning at home. So I'm giving it to the Steelers for this one. Really? I think they're going to rebound here. Now, if they let me down this time, I don't think I can go with them anymore.
Bold pick.
If they have another.
The Steelers looked so bad. Like
they did.
You know what that New England defense is. Obviously, they're like the best defense in the league every single year, basically. But the offense still looked so bad. No Le'Veon Bell, no Antonio Brown. They look like they had nothing to go, nowhere to go, nothing to do.
Yeah,
no concrete ideas, 3 points. They got steamrolled, and usually that Patriots defense takes a couple of weeks to get into the rhythm. Now, week 1 against the Steelers looked absolutely horrible for Pittsburgh. I'm gonna have to pick the Seahawks. They come off a win, although be it a close one. Against the Bengals, but they did win, and I think they're gonna march right through Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say that after them winning a close battle to the Bengals,
but losing third. No. I don't believe the Steelers right now until I see a win. Bills and the Giants.
Man, you know what? I'm going for the Bills to keep rolling in this one. And
I'd also pick the Bills, and the Giants are probably going to end up being a bottom feeder this year. They might have a top 5 pick again next year.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat Miami for the first pick, but they're going to.
Bills show good fighting spirit. Frank Gore is an eternal human being, and Josh Allen has showed some development. Obviously, bad first half, then pulled it out. I think he's gonna get into the groove and he's gonna win the game. Patriots and Dolphins.
Do we even need to discuss this one?
It's the no, but it's the Patriots and the Dolphins, and it's in Miami. So yes,
that's true. There is. I don't see that happening this year. I think the history goes out the window on this one. I don't think the Dolphins want to win. That's the problem. If it was later in the season, something maybe would swing my opinion a little bit. But I got to go with the Pats. I just don't see it happening, man.
I'm not trying to be insane, so I also will pick the Patriots. I'm just gonna make the disclaimer that this is the game that is the upset. If there is one, this is it. Because this is made to be it. It's the Patriots in Miami. They always lose Miami.
Could you imagine if the worst team from week 1 beat the best team from week 1?
Are the Patriots the best team from week 1? Ravens maybe.
33-3 against the Steelers. I mean, come
50 Ravens? You see Baltimore?
Yeah, but that was against the Dolphins. Against the worst team.
The Dolphins means still just as bad. I'm also going to pick the Patriots. We're going to see. But it wouldn't even hugely surprise me, honestly, because that is what the Patriots do. They lose in Miami. Would be a major upset, of course. I don't really believe it. Jaguars and Texans.
I'm going to stick with the Texans on this one at home. The rookie, the undrafted rookie, is going to be taking over at quarterback.
Yeah.
And Deshaun Watson is legit, like I mentioned earlier. So there's no way I'm going with the Jags in this one.
Would agree. Deshaun Watson was a 58-yarder away from beating the Saints in the Superdome. That was an outstanding show, and people don't do that. People don't do that.
No,
much.
Exactly.
And Texas did it. Him and DeAndre Hopkins, outstanding performance, combined for over 50 fantasy points. I have to agree. I mean, Nick Foles is out. Nothing points towards the Jaguars to win this. So I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with the Texans. And
Gotcha.
next we have the Vikings and Packers in the North.
This is a tough one. This is a really tough one. A divisional matchup, and we saw what both of them had in week 1. Man, I'm going with the Packers in this one. The Packers at home. The Vikings looked good against the Falcons. They looked really good, but it's still Aaron Rodgers against Kirk Cousins.
I'm a huge, I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy, and I'm always in this dilemma of how much do I believe in him, and I picked the better team, I picked the better defense, and like with the Bears, and then Aaron Rodgers comes back and proves me wrong, even though I'm usually the guy who will tell everyone that Aaron Rodgers can do it all, and I'm at that exact same situation again. And you know what? I'm not gonna make that mistake. I'm gonna pick Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna pick Aaron Rodgers in the Vikings because I need to see someone stop this man. And as long as I don't see that, I'm gonna keep picking him. I fell for it once. Shame on you. Whatever. Fell for it twice. Shame on me. I'm not gonna fall for it. Gonna pick the Packers to win it here. It'll be a huge win, by the way.
And the Packers defense did not look bad in that game.
No, they did not. They played up to par. That's all. That's what they need. That's what they need. Yeah. A good defense is all they need. Chargers and Lions.
You know what, man? You're not gonna agree with me at all on this one. Let's see, Stafford versus Rivers, and I'm going with the hometown Lions, and that seems like a weird pick on the surface.
It does,
but I have a feeling. The only way I can explain this is I just have a feeling.
Yeah, I also actually when I thought about this match the first time, I also had that feeling, but I have learned to rely on stats more than feelings. So I'm gonna like you said, disagree with you here. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. And I think it's probably the safer pick. Lions just went to overtime and tied, even though they dominated, but then went to overtime tied. What could be the worst or one of the worst teams in the league? And the Chargers didn't exactly shine against the out of the Colts. But I think they should be able to win this, even though it's on the road. So Chargers are going to be my pick. 49ers and the Bengals.
You'll like me on this one. I'm picking the 49ers on the road. I don't think the Bengals are legit yet, even though they put up a really good fight against the Seahawks. I really don't think they were playing above their head, I think. The
Bengals were? Maybe.
Yeah, and
maybe the Seahawks aren't as good as people thought.
That may very well be.
Well, we might see after this game. Obviously, they're playing the whole division. Once the Bengals are done with the Cardinals, Niners, and Rams, then we'll be able to judge that. But I'm also going to go with the Niners. No reason to not pick them. There was a lot of struggle still in week one, a lot of penalties, and Jimmy Garoppolo played. I'm not going to candy coat it at all. He played average. And he has to be better than that. Obviously, he knows it, and I think there's a little bit of rust there that's acceptable, that's excusable after missing the majority of last year. And the trend should be going upwards. Again, they could have scored a lot more. It should not have been that close of a game at all, even against the Buccaneers, relying on their defense. Speaking of which, the defense has been looking monstrous. Arguably the best defense in week one was, aside from the Patriots, 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, 3 sacks. That's more defensive production than they had all of last season. So that offseason definitely coming into account. If the offense keeps up there, and they should be able to go and beat the Bengals.
Let me ask you this though: why? I feel like let's put it this way: what did Pettis do to get put on restriction? Like, what has he done to Shanahan? Like, I feel like Pettis is this superstar receiver that Shanahan doesn't like for some reason.
I do think he likes him. You as a Falcons guy, as a Falcons fan, you know a bit about Shanahan, right? You know about that system, and you know that it's on offense. It's more about system or scheme. Rather than names, unless you are that rare exception that's Julio Jones or George Kittle. If you're not that player, then you're going to be part of the scheme. And Dante Pettis is it's not the best offense for standout fantasy players. I don't think a Niners running back will ever be top 5 running back pick as long as the Shanahan system is there, because there's going to be 2 other guys every single time, and you don't know who starts. You told me last week, Matt Breida gets a start. Who comes out of first drive is Coleman. then Raheem Mostert took carries. So they split. And with receivers, to a degree, it's the same thing. He likes to scheme people open.
But in Atlanta, Devontae Freeman was the clear-cut number one. I know they drafted Coleman to hopefully take the place of Freeman after a horrible first season. But
yeah, they did. Even though the record-breaking season, like the really good season, they were splitting a lot too. Like they were using Coleman as a receiving back. They were bringing them third downs.
They definitely were. But
that's what that system likes to do.
But also, you say with the Julio exception, I saw Sanu get double-digit touchdowns under Shanahan.
It's possible. If the scheme works out, it's definitely possible. I think Pettis can still do it, but there's a lot of rookie talent we've seen that are looking really good. Debo Samuel, and
I like Debo. Yeah,
I do too. And of course, the offense is going to focus around George Kittle. They'd be stupid not to. He's a stand-up player. He's the closest that he's got to Julio, even though he's tight end. But he's actually a very similar player, and everyone else plays their role. I don't think Pettis is falling from grace or anything. I think he's a good part of the offense, and he's going to get his fair share. Just didn't turn out that way in week 1 too much.
Yeah, I just think he could be utilized much more than he is, but I know he loves Kittle. And
wait and see.
Yeah.
Cardinals and the Ravens.
Cards and the Ravens. After that amazing tie they put up that no one expected, I'm still going with the Ravens at home. Lamar Jackson is probably going to eat again in this one. I don't see another 5-touchdown day coming, but he's going to put up a lot of touchdowns.
Agreed. Going with the Ravens also.
Yeah.
I have a bold prediction for this one, and
go for it.
I might offer you at a rate of 3-1 to put a beverage on it, but quarterbacks are going to outrush running backs in this game.
Oh, well, I want to say yeah, because you have 2 running backs that are playing quarterbacks in this game.
Yeah. Maybe not even that bold of a prediction, actually.
Yeah.
But it sounds nice.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that gives me hesitation on that is Lamar Jackson came out after the, in the press conference after the game, and he made it a point to say, not bad for a running back. And look, guys, I can throw the ball now. So
doesn't mean he shouldn't run if he gets the opportunity, though.
Yeah, I agree.
If listen, you're running quarterback, that's all fine and dandy. You can throw, that's the most important part. But if you can run, that's the bonus on top. The other way around, it doesn't work. But if you can throw and run, that's great. So you shouldn't stop running just to prove a point that he's a passer. That doesn't make sense.
So it's basically Kyler Murray is going to outrush David Johnson. And
I meant total, basically. So there's going to be more quarterback rushing yards than running back rushing yards in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is feasible.
Yeah, and Mark Ingram's going to rush a good bit as well.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough call, actually.
We'll see. But we both agree on the Ravens here to win this. I think
yes,
clear
definitely.
pick after that first game. Chiefs and Raiders, so divisional game.
I'm going to... I really wanted to go with the Raiders on this one.
Do it.
I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I had a feeling like, this could cement the John Gruden era right here. If he pulls this one out.
The Raiders win this game in good fashion.
The Chiefs are 5 times the offense that the Broncos are. So I can't quite bring myself to go with the Raiders on this one.
And 5 seems a very conservative estimate, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Chiefs at the Raiders. I'll take them all day. They should, for all intents and purposes, still feast on the Broncos and Raiders as the bottom feeders in this division. You can't drop a win to any of these teams. So Chiefs have to win it. Raiders, I'm not buying. I'm still not buying the Raiders. They won a game. Congratulations. I'm not buying them. I'm now low on the Broncos, but I'm still not much higher on the Raiders at all. But we'll get to the Raiders in the second topic just a little bit more. But I agree with you. Chiefs win this. Saints and Rams. Rematch of the NFC Championship game. And we all remember that one.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I'm going to take a walk down Narrative Street and say that the Rams are out for revenge. And this time, they're at home. They were in the Dome in the playoffs, right?
Wouldn't the Saints be out for revenge though? Because they got screwed by the ref call, right?
That's true. I think they both probably have a little bit of a vendetta here. I guess my narrative didn't work out too well, but I'm going with the Rams, man. Both teams didn't look that well in the first game. Neither one of them were bad, so to say. But
give me the Saints. I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
The Rams, Saints. They took Carolina close. I think. See, if you're taking this seriously, the Saints, you have a personal vendetta against this team because that was one of the worst calls ever, and it cost you a Super Bowl appearance. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna go into LA with some extra motivation, and I think this is gonna be an important game for them, just personally as a team. That they really want to win. I think they'll do it. I'm gonna pick the Saints.
Okay, I'm going with the Rams.
Bears and Broncos.
Both teams had no offense in week 1. Both teams had I can't even say that. Both teams defenses scored under par for where they should be. I'm gonna go with the Bears, get back on track on this one. They're going to Denver, and I think they'll control this game from start to finish.
I'll also pick the Bears. I'm gonna agree with you though. I wouldn't be surprised if this game ended like 6-3 or something.
Yeah,
didn't see much offense. Both defenses are allegedly good, supposed to be good, even though the Broncos didn't seem as though they were. And I mean, the Bears, listen, they held Aaron Rodgers to 10 points.
Yeah,
that's really, really good. But they need some offense, obviously, to follow that up. So,
yes,
gonna pick the Bears. I think the Broncos are good but easier than the Packers, and the Broncos did not look good at all. Eagles and Falcons.
Yeah, we're definitely going to disagree on this one.
I think so.
Because if I wasn't a Falcons fan, people are going to hate me for saying that. If I was, but I'm gonna say it because I already started saying it.
Yeah, sure, say it. I know what you're saying.
If I wasn't a Falcons fan, I'd be picking the Eagles right here. But and the Falcons are at home, but as we know from Matt Ryan, he doesn't have home road splits. When he's on fire, he wins everywhere, and when he's bad, he loses everywhere. So
answer me this question: does he look like he's on fire right now?
Well, dumpster fire. Man, you know how much trouble I'm gonna get in when people that I know hear this. So let's just say I'm going with the Falcons. The Falcons are gonna win this because I'm not gonna bet against the Falcons.
Okay, you're never gonna pick against the Falcons. That's high confidence.
Not unless it's just blatantly obvious. And you can say this is blatantly obvious all you want, but it's not. It is not. Close as it gets. It is not. Not at all.
I want to stress the fact that I do not personally have a dog in this fight. I basically like/hate both teams equally, which is I'm pretty neutral on both these teams, as opposed to what you allege sometimes about the Falcons.
Yeah, you hate them.
I want to say I very slightly sympathize with the Eagles more so than the Falcons, but that was because of that great Super Bowl run. I just liked that. It was cool. I'm gonna pick the Eagles. I'm gonna pick Carson Wentz and one of the top 5 teams in the league, which the Falcons are not, but the Eagles are right now, and I thought they were before the season.
Let me say something about that. I love Carson Wentz. He is a great football player. Yeah. I saw him as the next Cam Newton coming into the league, but and that was great. Now I love seeing the Patriots lose, but I can't stand the Eagles fans. Like just. Jesus Christ, guys! And I'm a Bills fan, and I think the Bills fans are funny, but Eagles fans are just malicious.
I think you can say that about a lot of fan bases you don't like, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's not a lot of fan bases that are, I mean, I'm hearing a lot about the Niners too, and it's just a thing of it's subjective to a degree at least. I know the Eagles have, among other teams, a reputation for it, for sure. But yes. I personally don't have a vendetta against the Eagles, and that I'm going to stick with that. As long as I don't, I'm not just going to hate on teams because it's fun to hate on them. So I'm gonna pick the Eagles, and I'm gonna go with my brain here. I hope this should give me an advantage. Do you want to put a bet on this game, by the way? How confident are you?
Not confident enough to bet.
That's what I thought.
I'm so disappointed after that first game, man. It's just,
it didn't look so good. First half, especially,
hurt my soul, man. I was like, "What are we doing here? What? This is not the team I remember, man. I feel like an abused spouse here."
Some work to do, man. Some more work to do if you want to make the playoffs there.
Yeah, but
sure.
I do have the past to go off of. We've dropped a lot of first games and came back and went to the playoffs. So, all is not lost.
Closing it out with the last game of the week, the Browns at the Jets.
This is another one just like the Steelers. As I was saying for them, I believe they're going to get back on track. And if they don't do it here, then I'm going to lose a lot of faith in these guys. But I'm going with the Browns.
I think I still don't quite understand your reasoning. You're saying back on track as if they ever were on track.
Okay, on track with the hype. Yeah.
Okay. And hype is not something to really go off to me. I don't,
On track with the last 5 games. On track where they should be with that talent. On track as in they shouldn't be this bad with
they should not.
The players
but they are.
Have.
They were last game. They were last game. I will agree with you after that great exclamation. I'm going to pick the Browns in a close game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sam Darnold looked better than Baker Mayfield in Week 1.
Of course.
Marginally so. But I think the huge quality of the Browns will prevail. I think they have so much better of a team. The defense could definitely step it up a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised by any means if they won. If the Browns played the way they did last week, or didn't play the way that hype would say that they are, and Sam Darnold has one of his breakout games and plays the way that he can definitely play. You got Le'Veon Bell carrying the load. The Jets can win this game. Again, the Jets, it was close against Buffalo, and it's tough to evaluate. Usually you look at the Jets and Bills, and it's a duel of two really, really bad losing teams. It might have been a fight of top dogs. You don't know that yet. First game of the season, they might both be really good. Gonna go with the Browns. Wouldn't be surprised if the Jets took it, but I'll take the quality on offense to get it done and get a first win. Because if they lose 2 in a row to start it off, they're gonna have a bad time. I mean,
momentum.
Your expectations are sky high.
Yeah, momentum is big in football, so they're going to have to build some momentum.
Next week, the Rams are coming to town for Cleveland, so that's it's go time right now.
This has to be the get-right game here, really.
Absolutely. So we'll see if that happens. One quick piece of breaking news. I'm not sure if you have seen it at the point of this recording. Point of release is going to be a couple days old, but Demaryius Thomas is a New York Jet.
Yes, I saw that. And there goes our hopes of him becoming a tight end for the Patriots.
Yeah.
But
and what does it tell us, too? Like, what does it tell you? He's done. That tells us he's done.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That tells us that Bill Belichick doesn't trade someone to his division rival that he knows can play still.
Mm-hmm.
He's washed up. He's done. That means he's pretty much done. He might have one season. Wide receiver 2 outside of Robbie Anderson just do decent, but not good enough for the Patriot way, apparently. And they had to make some roster spots, obviously. Some budget cuts for our second topic, and that is Antonio Brown. After the predictions. And Antonio Brown is a storyline. I really don't know where to start. But as we all know, we've heard it a bunch, and we all know by now, the autumn wind is a pirate, and the Raiders got robbed by 2 teams, the Steelers and the Patriots, in very quick succession. Seeing what this guy has done over his tenure with the Raiders, and we've talked about this privately already, makes Mike Tomlin look like the best coach ever.
Yeah, like a saint.
Exactly. The stuff that came out when he was in Pittsburgh, we were like, oh, all the incidents. There's some character issues, and then he comes out of Pittsburgh, to a different team, a worse ran organization than Pittsburgh, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, he's a step above a mental patient right now.
It's insane.
Yes, it is, and that's the exact word for it. It's insane, and he is officially at the last stop in football for a wide receiver of his caliber and his demeanor.
If Bill Belichick can't get him straight, he's done. No one will.
Exactly. That's the only
people will
place
be afraid to
be.
touch him. If New England releases this guy, says we can't handle him, he's a distraction. No one will want to touch this guy.
No, he's officially in football rehab right now.
Yeah, absolutely, along with Josh Gordon. And here's the big question: having seen what the Patriots just did Week 1 without Antonio Brown, defense on the spot. Offense looking great. The best receiving core in football with or without Antonio Brown, possibly. Mm-hmm. Does this addition help or hurt the Patriots more?
Well, that depends on how good Bill Belichick is. If he can control this attention monster that he has now, which he has done in the past with, quite a few players, actually. If he can control this guy, then they're unstoppable. No one's going to beat them. It's just impossible.
I've never seen something to this extent as Antonio Brown. I've seen Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Gronk, but this is excessive. And the Patriot system, right? It's system over player. And that's exactly what Antonio Brown doesn't do. There is no player that is above the system in New England. And if you feel like you're not going to play in that system. So Antonio Brown doesn't get the right to demand touches. He's going to have games when the game plan is going to look like we're going to run the ball, and you're going to block. You might get 2 catches and maybe a screen all game, and you better be satisfied with that, because you're going to sacrifice your own stats, your own exposure and attention for a team victory. And I just can't see, from what's been revealed, I cannot see Antonio Brown's ego being in line with it. I just cannot see him being able to do that.
I can't either. And like I've said before, this is the Russell Westbrook of football, and I think he's gonna have a lot of complaints. I mean, but he has to know this going in. I mean, everybody knows it. The entire world knows.
Yeah, he doesn't get to have complaints here. This is not This is not Oakland. This is not Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like however this is going to unfold is going to be interesting either way. But I'll make this prediction: either he straightens up or he's done with football. And that's not awesome. That's not bold at all, because that's his only 2 options right now.
It's only so far you can go with your off the field stuff with your character. But that's the whole thing though. He's now in a situation where he hasn't only pissed away tens of millions of dollars through his behavior. But also all the leverage that he ever had, because he doesn't have any in New England. The Patriots, it was very clear, the Patriots don't need Antonio Brown. Steelers, 3 points. They needed Antonio Brown. Oakland Raiders, bottom team. They needed Antonio Brown. The Patriots will win with or without Antonio Brown. They already have a stacked receiving room and a stacked system.
Makes me wonder why they did it. You didn't need him, but the headaches, hassles, and horse crap that comes with this, man. Maybe
Belichick knows something that we don't. Once again, maybe here comes one of my conspiracy theories. So, alert. Maybe Belichick was talking to him the entire time. Oh, that I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case at all. Not at all. Antonio Brown comes to the Raiders, notices, this is not good. This team isn't good. I don't really have a chance to win anything here. This team is a clown show, which, by the way, perfect fit usually for him. But he wants to win, and obviously he's done with Pittsburgh. And allegedly, the Patriots were trying to trade for Antonio Brown at the end of last season. The Steelers wouldn't do it because they did not want the Patriots to have Antonio Brown, to trade him off to the Raiders. And now he came back. So the conspiracy theory obviously is, did Antonio Brown just use the Raiders as sort of a step in between? Getting from an actual contender to another actual contender.
Yeah, but he blew a ton of money to do it.
Oh, yeah. I can't see Antonio Brown being that nifty and scheming. That if he did, then he was probably mind controlled by Belichick, all like Palpatine style.
Yeah. But
like all the way through, I can't see him doing that by scheming all that up by himself. But I think so. I think to a degree, yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't see Antonio Brown. I think he's one of these players that he doesn't really care if the team wins. He cares if he is the star, if he's getting his catches. But it would be nice to do in the playoffs, though. That's more attention. He's addicted to attention. Yeah. Well, and we've seen it in the past with Tony Harrison, too. Belichick loves to get a foot up on the Steelers. And he loves to do it right before they play the Steelers, too, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah. James Harrison.
Yeah. Oh, I said Tony Harrison. Sorry. James Harrison. But Tony Harris is the female that wants to get into the NFL and thinks she's playing for, like, Southern Cal State or something.
As a kicker?
No, she's a linebacker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like 5'7", 100.
I heard that a couple of like NFL teams wanted to try out
the soccer player.
Yeah, some American soccer player for as a kicker, which actually would probably be reasonable even.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
Linebacker, I don't really see.
Yeah, but, I don't think she's ever gonna actually make it. But that's
the Patriots for you. That's the Patriots for you. So far, 20 years and counting, Bill Belichick has been playing 5-dimensional underwater chess, while everyone else is playing checkers. And we're gonna see. We'll see how it turns out. And he definitely has the confidence, knowing in his backhand that he got Antonio Brown essentially for free in terms of trade value. He's gotten a lot of guaranteed money, which is almost surprising. I didn't think they were gonna give him that much, but he has the luxury to be able to afford to cut him if things go south enough, as it did in Oakland, and still have a contender team. He doesn't rely on Antonio Brown to contend for the playoffs. He's going to make the playoffs no matter what. Yeah.
Definitely. And
so it's just a luxury. It's just a luxury resource to afford that player. And if he works out, all the better for him.
And now they have Josh Gordon on both sides of the field, and they have
Julian Edelman.
Edelman. And, I was kind of disappointed that they got rid of Demaryius Thomas, because that would be 3 elite wide receivers and then 1 former elite wide receiver. Yeah. But even so, I mean, that passing attack, Tom Brady has to be elated. I mean, he can just right now he can just throw the ball up in the air, like anywhere, and the ball is going to be caught.
It's going to be caught. Yeah, that is true. So they're setting up for success. That's how the Patriots have been doing it, and so we'll see if Antonio Brown works out, and if not, where does it end up? Because I do agree with you. I don't think any other team. I don't think he's going to get a third chance. Not if it ends the same way. If it ends the same way it did this one, because he's on a short leash. He is. If he can't, he better not post a phone call with Bill Belichick on his YouTube channel. Because he's getting his walking papers next day. And he better not even skip a walkthrough like he did with the Raiders. He's not gonna dictate his workout plan when he shows up for practice, when he doesn't. That's not his call anymore. He also not gonna dictate how many catches he gets. So we'll have to wait and see how it works out. So that's football for this week. Very quick segment we wanted to discuss really quickly. 12th through 15th of September, it is the annual Olympia weekend, and do you have, or we could just give some forecasting, some predictions that we have. Obviously, really mostly I'm interested in men's open bodybuilding, so I'm not really looking at all those subdivisions, even though classic physique is interesting. But I think the open is what matters the most. Fun fact at the side, you've heard about it probably, the announcement of The Rock's show. The Rock's going to get his own IFBB show in 2020, which is said to be, or rumored to be, the biggest show of the year. So that's going to be very interesting. A couple of notes. This is going to be a very interesting year in the open division because, currently still reigning Mr. Olympia Sean Roden is not competing. He's still in his legal situation, still not allowed to compete this event. Now, noteworthy is that he's not excluded, or he's not banned from the IFBB. He's banned from the Mr. Olympia only. So
even though he qualified for the Olympia,
he did qualify. He's still the current champion.
Yes,
but he was banned from the event because of the legal situation, but not from the IFBB. So if you're seeing him posting about his updates and he's prepping, he's eligible to show up for other shows in the next couple of months, which there are some. So don't be too surprised about that. Phil Heath also not gonna participate. Lost obviously to Sean Roden last year. And a bit of a surprise, and he's not going to be there. Big Ramy not going to be there, so that's all the favorites from last year out the door, which means that we're going to have a new Mr. Olympia this year. And
my favorite bodybuilder of all time, Kai Green, will not be there.
No, yeah, and I'm going to have to disappoint you, but he will never be there again.
Well, yeah, I understand.
Because that I mean, the topic doesn't go away. It's every year. It's every year, but he's not going to do it. I just don't see it. If he was gonna do it, he would do it this year, because this year he has the best chances of winning.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah,
no Phil, no Ramy, no Sean Roden. He would come back if he were interested in doing it. He would do it this year. He's not gonna do it, which leaves the door wide open. And do you wanna give me your prediction? What is your give me your top three if you want.
My top three, and I may be taking some of yours with this one because I know you're big on Bonac, but William Bonac is definitely in my top three. And the old man of the group, I really like Dexter Jackson.
Got him at number 2? Wow. Yeah,
well, you know what? Possible. I'm going to put Bonac at 2. I'm going to put Dexter Jackson at 3. I'm going to put Bonac at number 2. And my favorite to win this entire thing is the man, Big Brandon Curry.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Brandon Curry is definitely the favorite going into this. Dexter Jackson top 3. I mean, I'd like to see it, and that would be really. Dude is almost 50 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But people talk about LeBron and Tom Brady are immortal. But I don't quite see him making top 3. Brandon Curry obviously won the Arnold Classic in May. And he has to have best chances of winning the Olympia, no doubt.
Yes.
Number 2 for me actually is going to be Rolly Winkler. I think he's going to be very interesting prospect coming in, and he's been climbing up the IFBB ladder consistently. He's going to be one of the biggest guys on stage, at least BMI wise. He's a mass monster. And he does definitely have an outside chance of winning the whole thing if he comes in at peak condition. That's going to be the important part for him. He's got to come in at peak definition. If he doesn't, I don't think he can defeat Brandon Curry, but a top 3 spot should be possible. And then I do also have William Bonac at 3. I do like him a lot. He's very, very well conditioned. Usually comes in on the spot, very good proportions. He's on the shorter side, which you can interpret that whatever way you want. He can be lighter and still look fuller, but then again, some of the conditioning obviously isn't going to look as good on him. To me, it's going to be Brandon Curry, and that's my top 3. I would like Dexter Jackson to make top 3. I don't quite see it, but it's gonna be a very interesting show because it's gonna be completely different. There's gonna be new Mr. Olympia. We know that already. Unless Dexter Jackson wins somehow, but I highly doubt it. And should be an interesting show. So the other events I'm not too familiar with even, and I really don't care about them too much. But this one's always a good one. So Brandon Curry to me has been the favorite ever since I knew Phil Heath probably wasn't showing up. and then the whole Sean Roden situation. I thought that, and this is an interesting one. Do you think that if Sean Roden was competing, he would have to be the favorite, right?
Yeah, I would think so at this point.
But then again, you look at the Arnold and Brandon Curry has had an outstanding year, and
Curry,
he's only getting better.
Yes. Yeah, I mean that's real close. I mean, you never can know what the IFBB judges are thinking, man. But I just wanted to point this out. Somebody we left out is another short fella, Hadi Chupan.
Oh yeah, I've seen it today. Yeah, he is showing up. Yeah, yes, I think he has an outside chance of making top 6, and I wouldn't be massively surprised. I think we'll probably outside of my top 3, my top 5 will probably be like you said, Dexter Jackson and probably Nathan Diasha, but he does have a chance, so it's going to be interesting to see him for sure. I'm glad that he made it.
Yeah, and it was big news that he actually made it into the Olympics this year. And he usually competes at 212.
He does, yeah.
He's a small guy, but
yeah.
I tend to think the smaller guys, or at least the shorter guys, you can't really say small with any of these guys, but at least the shorter guys, I almost see that they could have an advantage because their muscle bellies are more compact, they're not elongated. But if you get just a giant mass monster, a Brandon Curry or a Kai Green, it's
overwhelming. It's tough to not give these guys a nod. But that's highly dependent on era. If you look back on like the 70s Arnold era, when what is now classic physique was basically men's open at that point.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno and Arnold were the biggest guys out
Arnold
there.
was 6'3". And that might have been an advantage for that type of physique. I think for classic physique, it could be an advantage to be on the taller side.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you're gonna look much more lean that way.
Yeah, because I mean, classic physique is basically remotely human shaped, and men's open bodybuilding really is not. It's been about
bubble guts,
most mass. Yeah, you don't see anyone hitting a vacuum anymore.
No, so, they can't. I don't think they can.
They can't. No, they can't. They cannot do it. They'll do it at the classic, and even there at classic physique, it's not a mandatory pose, but I think they'll try it for sure. But they have, I think in classic physique they have one mandatory pose where everyone can basically just do what they want, like hit their favorite pose, and I think a lot of people are going to try to hit the vacuum, but in open, no chance. Not going to happen. We know how that it historically is very, very difficult to defeat the reigning Mr. Olympia one-on-one if he's at the show. That's why Phil Heath won so many in a row. That's why it was a surprise of seeing Sean Roden coming in winning last year with Phil Heath there. That's usually a big hurdle to jump, because when in doubt, they'll give it to the reigning guy. And I want to just make sure that if Brandon Curry ends up winning this, or whoever ends up winning this, I don't think there should be that big of an asterisk next to their name, because I think Brandon Curry honestly could have beaten Sean Roden, Phil Heath one-on-one this year. I think he's looking at it.
I think so. I mean, I saw the pictures of him today. He looks great. He's in great shape. Dude.
He looks really, really good.
So conditioned and just gigantic all around.
Those
lats. Those lats. Yeah. He's got lats look like 2 Volkswagen hanging under his armpits,
Yeah, exactly. And that's where he's gonna separate himself from the field. Except for maybe Rolly. I think Rolly Winkler is sort of the other guy who can somewhat hang with him in terms of just pure mass.
Yeah, he's a giant block of a dude. Yeah.
But I'm gonna give the nod to Brandon Curry as well. We're gonna see how it turns out though, and maybe look back at that briefly in next week's show. But I think that concludes it for today. Yes.
Well, before we close it out, since we haven't really talked bodybuilding in the past, give me your top 3 of all time.
Bodybuilders?
Yes.
All time. All right. Let's see. I like the golden era. I definitely prefer it. So don't call me too biased there. But I'm gonna probably say Arnold, Franco Colombo, and like Frank Zane or something. I know that you got your Phil Heath, your Dexter Jackson, who could. I mean, if someone's gonna call Dexter Jackson the GOAT, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna disagree at all. I like the old school era though.
Oh yeah, I get it. I mean, it's kind of cliche, and that's what you expect everyone to say is,
Yeah.
Arnold, of course. I would put Lou Ferrigno in there if we're talking about the golden era, But I'll give you mine. Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, and Kai Green.
Oh, Kai Green is an interesting call. I mean, you said it right, it's your favorite of all time, but
yes.
An interesting call. It's kind of sad that he doesn't really show up anymore. It would definitely be interesting to see.
Oh, no. But he has the back that I always strive for. I mean, I never wanted to be that big, but I always wanted to have that kind of definition in my back like he had.
It's crazy. That is true. He is a monster. Unfortunately, not on the IFBB stage anymore. But we shall see. We shall see how it turns out, and we'll be crowning a new Mr. Olympia most likely. So that will be exciting for sure. Until next week, we'll have more NFL content. Obviously, we'll be predicting every single week, keeping score. Week 1 wasn't too bad. We both ended up with a positive record. That's not too bad. To close it off, you obviously won the bet about the 49ers game. So you're currently leading me by 1 Monster Energy. Do you want to take the same type of bet again, the insurance bet?
Let's see. Let me look back at my notes. Did I pick the 49ers? Oh, I picked the 49ers
you did.
to win.
So I'm going to put 1 Monster on the Bengals.
Okay. I'll take it then. I mean,
all right, let's write it down.
Yeah, because either way, I'm going to break even if I lose that.
Exactly.
I'll either be up by 2 or break even.
Yeah, we're gonna calculate all those together at the end of the year. That might just be down a little bit at the end of the year if we do this every week. But if I am down, that means that the 49ers have a winning record. So I can probably somehow end up justifying that to myself. Let me write that down, and we are going to be good. So thank you for being here. Until next week, drop a like on the video and let us know your opinions on the matters we have discussed. How do you think the Browns are looking? How do you think the Patriots are looking? And maybe even the Olympia or the Antonio Brown situation. Yes. Until then, hopefully we'll have a good week of NFL football. Looking forward to it. And we're getting closer to the World Series also, which we're going to have to look at some point.
Yeah, we need to recap that in our picks for the World Series.
Yes, we do, because we did pre-predictions.
Yes. Let's do that going into the playoffs.
Let's do that. Yeah, I had the Dodgers, I remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So thank you for watching, everybody. If you're on Beyond Football, go check out Smokey's channel, The Trash Talkers, link in the description. And if you are on that channel, please come over to Beyond Football and check out mine. See what we're doing over here. Until next week, have a good one, and we'll see you then.
Deuces.